Back again with another review here, and today we're going to talk about a review, Blue Steel, a 1990 film starring Jamie Lee Curtis and directed by Kathryn Bigelow. Now, I don't own the film. I was able to watch on Tubi. So I know I'm plugging Tubi, but you know what? There's a lot of good stuff you could find on there, and this was one of them. It was a random watch, and I thought it was a very solid film. I really enjoyed this, and so the plot with this movie here, you got Jamie Lee Curtis in the film. She plays this rookie cop, Megan Turner, and she kills a convenience store clerk, and she doesn't notice that there's this guy on the ground, played by Ron Silver. He picks up the robber's gun. Jamie Lee Curtis kills the robber, but he takes the dead man's gun with no weapon at the crime scene. The police, they hold Jamie Lee Curtis's character accountable for what happened, killing an unarmed man. Meanwhile, Ron Silver's character's on a killing spree, and it's up to Jamie Lee Curtis to stop him. And that's the plot to the film here. But again, directed by Kathryn Bigelow, very capable director. Just before this, she did Near Dark, which I haven't seen, but I do have the Blu-ray. Right after this film, she would do Point Break, which is a great movie. Later on, The Hurt Locker, a great director. Brad Fiedel provides the score here for the film. I really enjoyed the score. The cast here. You got Jamie Lee Curtis in the film. You got Ron Silver, as the villain. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in the film. Ron Silver made a great villain. This guy, unfortunately he's no longer around, but he was the bad guy in Time Cop. He was also the bad guy in Deadly Outbreak with Jess Speakman. And I would say this is probably my favorite Ron Silver performance. I mean, this guy, he's a psychopath. I mean, there's moments in the film where, he's losing it and he goes on a killing spree, killing random people with this 44, going around the city, stalking Jamie Lee Curtis. And there's some good psychological, elements there. And this guy is, just a psychopath. Ron Silver is scary in this movie. But, great actor. I wish the guy was still around. Clancy Brown is in the film as Jamie Lee Curtis's partner. Clancy Brown from Highlander, The Shawshank Redemption, another great actor. And, I like that he was a good guy in this movie. I like that he was the partner of Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought he was good in the film. Elizabeth Pena, unfortunately, she's passed away, but she was in Rush Hour. She was the partner of Chris Tucker in the beginning of the film. And I think the same year, 1990, she also did Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder is another great movie. But like I said, unfortunately, she's passed away. Louisa Fletcher is in the film. She was the nurse in Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, she's in the film as the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis. And I think just very recently she passed away. But it's kind of weird to see her in this movie where, she's the mom. But in Cuckoo's Nest, everybody hated the character. Kevin Dunn is in the film. A very recognizable actor. He was in Godzilla 98. He was in Small Soldiers, if I can talk right. But yeah, Kevin Dunn is, always cool to see him. I like him as an actor. Again, from Small Soldiers and Godzilla 98. Richard Jenkins is the lawyer of Ron Silver's character in the film. And, Tom Sizemore. Tom Sizemore is the robber in the film. I'm like, hey, there's Tom Sizemore. But, really good cast here. And, it was written by Kathryn Bigelow and Eric Red. I recognize Eric Red. I don't know. I didn't look up what else he's written, but I know he's a, known writer. And, things that I really enjoyed about the film. The atmosphere. And I really enjoyed the atmosphere of this film here. It has that kind of down and dirty feel. The look of the film. I mean, I really enjoy the tint, sort of this bluish tint throughout the movie. Like, I don't know what kind of texture they used here, but then I just enjoyed the kind of blue tint that they went with in terms of the look at the film and the camera, the texture. I mean, again, I mentioned Ron Silver. His character's crazy in the film, psychopath. Psychopath. Which is interesting because I think the same year you also had Pacific Heights with Michael Keaton. Was 1990 the year of, stalker movies or psychopath movies? Because, Pacific Heights is another good one that came out that year. So maybe 1990 was the year, like stalker, killer movies. But, there's little things too with the Ron Silver character. I mean, he works on Wall Street. That's his job in the film. He's like a trader. There's little things like, he would carve Jamie Lee Curtis's name on a bullet. I thought that was interesting. Now, the one thing I will say here that kind of like, what? So during the robbery sequence, of course, the gun disappears after, Jamie Lee Curtis kills the guy. But they can't find the gun. I mean, I get that part. But what kind of got me a little bit is, you have all these witnesses that, like she killed an unarmed man, but you got all these witnesses that saw what happened. That's the part I don't understand. Like, you're going to hold Jamie Lee Curtis's character accountable for killing an unarmed man, but there was quite a few people there that witnessed this thing. Like, there was quite a few people that clearly saw this man had a gun, and, why is everybody mad that... that's the one part I'm like, what? Jamie Lee Curtis, shot this guy that clearly had a gun and was holding the cashier, trying to get the money. And, okay, you can't find the gun, but, the guy deserved it. I mean, again, there's quite a few people there, witnesses, that saw he had a gun. Do you mean to tell me that none of them came forward, or none of them were interviewed, or what have you? I know it's just a movie, but again, I'm sure there's quite a few people there that will say, hey, this guy had a gun, he got shot through the window. No sympathy for him. But anyways, moving on from that, but there's some good night shots in the film. Again, I mean, and even like some moments going back to Ron Silver for a second, there's moments where he's kind of frightening, where there's a scene, for example, where he takes the blood-soaked clothes and he's just like rubbing all over his body, and he's great in Time Cop. Ron Silver's a great villain in Time Cop. Here, it's like he's just, like I said, this could be my favorite Ron Silver performance. I love him in Time Cop, but here, he's like, just a psychopath killer. And again, just everybody does a good job in the cast. Even like, there's a little subplot in the film where the father, played by, I wrote his name down here. Yeah, Philip Bosco. There's a little subplot where he's a bit of, he's abusive towards his wife, and Jamie Lee Curtis takes him out on a ride, puts him in handcuffs, and is like, don't you ever do that again. So, I mean, that was interesting. Now, I will say, so in the film, and this might be kind of a spoiler, I don't know how much of a spoiler it is, but Ron Silver's character gets shot like 3 different times in the film, but he still manages to come back. I don't know what that I mean, is this guy like Jason or something? Or Mike Myers? I mean, again, I love Ron Silver in the film, but there's like 3 different times, I swear, where he gets shot and he keeps coming back. But, Ron Silver does a great job, so. And he has some great practical blood here in the movie. Great blood squibs. It's violent. There's no one bit of CGI here with the blood. I just enjoy the practical blood squibs and the practical blood here in the movie. The film is an hour and 40 minutes. To me, it didn't bother, like the pacing I thought was good. The look at the film, the cinematography is by Amir Mokri. And Amir Mokri went on to do other films. I think, I was looking at the Wikipedia, and funny enough, I think he did Pacific Heights. Or I believe it's a her. But yeah, she worked on Pacific Heights. And then Free Jack. And I think she's still working, so. But again, the cinematography is good here in the movie. There's a lot of good city shots and so much more. Now, the film came out in March of 1990, and it didn't really do anything. I mean, I think just a week or 2 before The Hunt for Red October came out, so that was dominating the box office. And then like a week later, you had TMNT 1990. So, that was another big hit. So this movie kind of, again, didn't really do much, got lost in the shuffle. I know that Jamie Lee Curtis and Ron Silver got, some good notices, for their performances. But, it's a film that, again, didn't do much. And it's unfortunate. I think, should have went on to, do a little bit more. But overall, Blue Steel, it's a very solid film here. Jamie Lee Curtis does a great job. Ron Silver's performance for me is a standout. Very solid direction from Catherine Bigelow. Good score by Brad Fiedel. And out of 5 stars, I'm going to give this 4 stars. So, if you want to think about an 8 out of 10, this is what I would give Blue Steel. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Thank you to Director Screenwriter for being a patron and supporting the channel. And for anyone that would like to support the channel, I'll leave a couple of links down below in the description box to my PayPal and Patreon. PayPal for those that would like to request videos, and Patreon is for crediting if you want to be credited in videos. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.